Okay, guys, this is the last section for this unit and for this course, really. It's section 10.5, buying a house with a mortgage. Homeowner's mortgage is a long-term loan in which the property is pledged as a security or the collateral for the payment of the difference between the down payment and the sale price. There's two types of mortgages, a conventional and an adjustable rate or a variable rate loan. The major difference between the two is the interest rate for a conventional loan is fixed for the duration of the loan, whereas the interest rate for the variable may change every period. That could be good, could be bad, depends on if it goes up or down. The homeowner's mortgage, lending institutions require the homeowner to pay one or more points, for a loan at the time of closing. And according to the Internal Revenue Service, points are interest prepaid by the buyer and may be used to reduce the stated interest rate the lender charges. So the more points you pay, the less the interest rate. 1 point is equal to 1% of the loan amount. So the Martins wish to purchase a house selling for $249,000. The plan to obtain a loan from the bank. The bank requires a 15% down payment payable to the seller and a payment of 2 points. So that's calculated after the down payment. So the down payment is 15% of $249,000, which is $37,350. So that comes off of the $250,000 to determine what their mortgage is. So now this is how much they have to take a mortgage out from the bank. So they're going to take that much mortgage in, because that's the mortgage, they're going to do 2% of that. That's going to be the 2 points that they're going to have to pay. So they're paying $37,350 to the seller, and they're paying $4,233 to the bank for the points. There's a way that they use a formula to decide how you qualify for a mortgage. They calculate your adjusted monthly income, how much you have to pay out, and they have a formula for how you decide whether you can qualify to pay for a mortgage, the maximum monthly money that they'll give you. What the payments are is this formula. That's more what we're interested in, what your payment would be. So this P is how much of a mortgage you're going to take. The R is the rate in a decimal. You're going to pay it monthly, which is going to be 12. And then 1 minus that formula. This is your compound formula that we used in the last section. And notice this negative sign here. Don't forget this negative sign when we do it. Okay, so let's figure out what their payment would be for that $211,650 30-year mortgage, which is a normal. Sometimes they're 15, sometimes they're 25, but normally most people take out a 30-year and a 7%. So let's see what their payment would be, which is considered principal and interest. So the mortgage is $211,650. The interest rate was 7%, and they're gonna pay it monthly. So this is 1 minus 1 plus this same fraction up here, and the exponent is going to be negative 12, because that's how many times a year they pay it for 30 years. So if I put that in my calculator, I like to do the bottom first. So I do 1 minus, because that has the parentheses that I need to have, 1 plus 0.07 divided by 12 to the, I have to use this negative sign, 12 times 30. So that's the bottom half of the fraction. The top half would have been 211,650 times 0.07. I don't have to have those parentheses because of PEMDAS. It's going to do, it's just fine the way it is. So that's the top half, and I want to divide by the 0.87694146 divided by the bottom. So there's my payment, $408. I put something in wrong because it should come out to be $1,408.11. I put some number in wrong somewhere, but that's what it should come out to be, the top divided by the bottom. They have a schedule that shows what your payment would be. as you go along in your loan. This would be the schedule that you would get from the bank. And you notice at the beginning you pay mostly interest and very little principal. And as it goes on, you pay more and more of the principal. You always pay the interest up front. So that's why if you want to refinance, you have to decide when to do it. If you're into the point where you're paying the principal more, it might not be worth it to refinance. An adjustable rate mortgage, the mortgage normally starts with a lower interest rate, and then it may, depending on how things go in the rate market, go up. So sometimes it becomes more appealing because it starts low. So first, the initial period normally is 5 years, and it's lower than a conventional mortgage. And after the initial rate period, the rate may rise and cause the monthly payments to also rise. So these people are going to take out purchase a condominium for $275 with a down payment of $115. They're going to obtain a 15-year adjustable rate mortgage with the following terms. The interest rate is based on a 1-year treasury, which is currently at 0.5, and then they're going to add on 3. So their first rate is going to be 3.5. They're going to add those two together. The original rate period is for 5 years, and thereafter the initial rate is adjusted once a year. So the adjustable rate mortgage in the beginning would be the 0.5 and the 3 added together, or 3.5%. What the treasury bill is and what the add-on is, which in this case was 3. So determine their initial monthly payment. So we're going to need a chart to do this, as opposed to our formula. So we're going to use a chart on the following slide. The amount is $275 minus the $115 because that's their down payment. So we're going to look. So they're taking out a mortgage for $160,000. Our chart is going to be based on every 1,000. So we're going to divide this by 1,000, and we're going to get 160. Now we're going to look at the table. 3.5% for 50 years. So we're going to go over here to this table. 3.5% for, what did I say? 15 years, right? 3.5% for 15 years. Here we go. There we go. And it's going to be 7.4 for every 1,000. Okay. So you come back over here, and they're going to take that 7.41 that we got from the chart. This came from the chart. And because there's going to be $160,000, so that's how many thousands they took out, this is their payment. Okay, so it's a different thing when you do an adjustable rate as opposed to using the formula. Okay, if after 5 years the initial rate period, the treasury bill is now at 1.5% as opposed to 0.5 in the beginning, now what's their rate? Well, they're going to take that 1.5 and they're going to do that always. They always add 3 on. So now their rate is going to be 4.5%. Okay. And there is a rate cap to prevent rapid increases in interest rates. Some banks have a rate cap. Rate cap limits the maximum amount the interest rate may change. Okay. So that's it for this unit, for this section. That's all it is. And it's just going to be 4 short questions for the homework.